Let's talk about Lindsey Graham introducing an abortion ban proposal. This is supposedly to make the Republicans seem more reasonable when it comes to abortion.
And get out ahead of it, right? Get out ahead of just the narrative. That's what they're trying to do.
Well, they're afraid of what abortion is doing to their electoral chances in November.
It's a little late to get out ahead of it, but it makes it seem like, hey, we're reasonable, right? Or that's what their thinking is. And I was concerned when I saw it, but because I thought maybe the media would frame it as, hey, they're trying to find a middle ground on abortion with this 15-week ban. But every headline I'm seeing is calling it a ban, which is good.
Because, look, here's the bottom line. 90% of abortions are performed, I think, in the first 13 weeks. The issue is largely about the other 10%. And a 15-week abortion ban means that you will have women dying. There's a story in the Times today, coincidentally. I don't think that people understood that Graham was going to try this yesterday. About the medical impact of the overturning of Roe v. Wade. In Texas, in the New York Times, oncologists say they now wait for pregnant women with cancer to get sicker before they treat them, because the standard of care would be to abort the fetus rather than allow treatments that damage it. But state law allows abortions only at risk of death. They literally have to play around with cancer patients being at risk for death. There is no world in which that is better for cancer patients. Some hospitals have established committees to evaluate whether a pregnancy complication is severe enough to justify an abortion. There's a task force in Arizona set up. In Wisconsin, a group of doctors and lawyers is trying to come up with guidelines on how to comply with the newly revived 173-year-old law that prohibits abortion except to save the life of a pregnant woman. If you have preeclampsia, which is it's a complication of pregnancy. It's where like blood pressure can drop, or protein in the urine, high blood pressure. I should say blood pressure raises. It can be hard to distinguish from normal pregnancy. It recalls for an abortion, but if you see that this is happens after 20 weeks, these are the people who are at risk. Ectopic pregnancies, these are the people who are at risk. Miscarriages, these are the people who are at risk. And this whole notion of exceptions, the Republicans are still deluding themselves as to what the implications of these abortion bans are. And before anyone writes in about France or Germany or any European countries having 15-week, 15-week is their cutoff, note that when they say exceptions, the exceptions are driven by the determination of the pregnant woman. If the pregnant woman feels that this is any way a jeopardy to her health, the abortion is okay. There is no liability. There is no, responsibility by the doctors to make that assessment in a way that would scare them. They're afraid to go to jail.
Well, I mean, and has there even been any actual discussion about what this process would be, about a determination of whether or not the exception would be valid in this instance? And I'd imagine there'd be some legal wrangling and finagling by these states, right? That's basically like they were talking about this in the Obama era, the death panels. That's kind of what it is, right?
Yes, except for the death panels are basically saying, what we're going to pay for in terms of care. It's not outlawing any care.
No, I know. I'm just saying it was their caricature of the death panels is going to the government and making a determination about like what medical choice you can make for yourself.
Without a doubt.
And it's going to be these just, insanely conservative state governments.
An obstetrician in Scottsdale, Arizona, Julie Quatra, was quoted as saying, the confusion around when you can abort in the context of a threat to the life of the mother. And again, this doesn't even like deal with the idea of how long does it take you to prove that you've been raped in a court of law?
The idea that we can even prove rapes in this country, it's one of the cases that are pursued the least, and it's because of misogyny and also difficulty.
Quatra says this was eminently predictable, given the number of situations where physicians have to terminate pregnancies to protect the health or life of a pregnant woman. But even she was surprised at the number and range of hospital employees who have emerged with concerns. Forensic nurses who care for sexual assault victims in the emergency room said they would no longer provide morning after contraception for fear it would be considered an abortion drug. Because the old law punishes those who aid and abet an abortion, and anesthesiologists worried that he might be prosecuted for putting a patient to sleep for an abortion. A neonatologist worried about liability for declining to resuscitate a fetus judged no longer viable. She said, we already work under a cloud of getting sued. That's what we signed up for. This is different. This is criminal liability, not civil liability. This is jail time. Jeez. You think you have a shortage of medical personnel now? Another story, a patient showing up at a hospital in Texas with a stillborn fetus. The required procedure was induced delivery, not abortion, but still doctors declined to do it. And an alert had to go out to find a physician who was willing. The doctor said patients with conditions that don't even fall under the ban are being denied care.
Yeah. Hey, if you have a miscarriage and you have a fetus that's dead inside of you, it's probably your fault, right? You're not being the perfect vessel for life.
Now, let me get in touch with my lawyers, see if I can help you.
Exactly.
I mean, people have made this point, and it's really easy, but I think it's important to hammer home, like, this whole Lindsey Graham and Republican effort to codify this federally, which it's not going to go anywhere under Biden, but it's a preview if a Republican wins. States' rights. They were saying this is all about states' rights. States should make the determination about whether or not they should allow abortion in their state. And like it just, people should pay attention because it's instructive for them historically and then in the future when Republicans are making these arguments. States' rights, as they say it, are a fig leaf for stripping people of their civil rights and of their individual rights. And they do it like within the same few months. It doesn't take them that long. So that's what this is. And
you can be sure that a Republican-sponsored 15-week ban on abortions is going to allow for states to actually ban it earlier.
Mm-hmm.
This is just going to be the sort of outer balance. And again, this is also the bill they're raising now when they know it can't pass. This is exclusively to attempt to say that we are moderate in terms of our perception of whether abortion should be legal or not. I guarantee you the bill that they bring up when they control the Senate and the House and the presidency will not allow for 15 weeks. Again, let me just remind you, this is in Germany. There is supposedly a ban after 12 weeks. But exceptions include when, quote, from the pregnant person's point of view, that's a quote, abortion is, quote, necessary to avert a danger to the life or grave injury to the mental or physical health of the pregnant person, taking into account her present and future living conditions. In other words, take it seriously, you choose. That's it.
Easy.
So when that person who says France or Germany to you says France or Germany to you about this as being reasonable, you can cite that. That came from a piece that Don Moynihan wrote on his, I guess it was a Medium post. Maybe we can put a link to that, debunking the false comparisons between European and American abortion policies. Because this is going to be part of the talking point. But make no mistake about it. What Lindsey Graham is proposing is an abortion ban. And all of the dangers that are associated with that in terms of women's health are wrapped up in that ban. And I think, I think from a perspective of a political perspective, one, it's really telling because they realize that abortion is a huge issue in this election.
Oh, yeah.
And two, they realizes that they're really, marginal, and it gives a hint as to where they're going to go with this. And I'll tell you, this also really, contemplate this. If the Democrats pick up 2 seats in the Senate, if they can hold the House, by no means is this something that you should bank on. They really, at that point, only need 51 votes in the Senate to carve out a filibuster exception. You heard Fetterman announced that he was going to do this. He had 3,000 people at a rally in a Republican part of Pennsylvania in the rain, and was talking about overturning passing protection for abortion on a federal level. Democrats, they do this, then the Republicans have to run against repealing the right for people to have an abortion. They are terrified of this issue because they are slowly, some of them, are starting to realize how bat crap crazy this policy is. And how much people take offense to having their rights rolled back after 50 years.
Just look at the voter registration rolls in the aforementioned Pennsylvania and in Wisconsin, and look at how many women are registering right now. This is gonna translate. Is it enough to hold the House? I don't know, but keep messaging on it, at least from an electoral perspective, Democrats.
Without a doubt. They're going to run hard on this, and this is going to help them.